Hey everybody, right now we're going to take a look at the equations of vertical and horizontal lines. So we've talked about what the equation of a line looks like when has a steepness of some kind, whether it's really steep, here's a line, whether it's really steep or not so steep, right? Whether it has a positive slope or a negative slope. But we haven't talked about vertical lines. And we haven't talked about horizontal lines. So let's do that. First of all, we're also going to talk about the slopes of those lines, and we're going to talk about the equations of those lines. So firstly, let's talk about the slope. So here is a vertical line. Here are 2 points on a vertical line. I'm going to draw the line. And I'll put the equation of the line there when I figure out what it is. And I've labeled at least one thing on my x and y axes so I know what each tick means. Okay, so here each one of these is 1, 2, 1, 2, as opposed to 2, 4, or a half, 1, 1 and a half, 2, and so on. You have to give yourself some scaling. And of course, always arrows with x and y on the positive ends of the axes. So let's take a look at slope. So if slope is, I'm going to put this here, I'll call this line 1. So the slope of line 1 is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now let's pick these 2 points. So this is 2, 3. And the next point is 4, 2, 3, and this is 2, 4. Right? We start from here, we go right, left first, and then up, down. X is always right, left, y is always up, down. So now let's plug these into here. So I'm going to have y2 minus y1, 4 minus 3 over 2 minus 2 equals 1 over 0. Now what happens when you divide by 0? 1 divided by 0 on your calculator. You're not sure? Pull out your calculator and divide it and see what happens. You're going to get an error. I mean, think about it. You can divide a pizza by 2 between one person, which isn't really dividing it. Divide it by 2 people, 3 people. You can't divide a pizza by 0 people. Like, how are you going to do that? It doesn't make sense. So when we divide by 0, we say that that is undefined. Undefined. You cannot divide by 0. So the slope of line 1 is undefined. Okay? Next, we're going to find the equation of this line. So let's talk about what we notice here. The coordinates of this point are 2, 3. The coordinates of this point were 2, 4. The coordinates of this point will be 2, negative 2. The coordinates of this point will be, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 7. What do all of these points have in common? Because remember, an equation of a line is a rule describing the points on the line. That's what an equation is. Well, all of these points have one thing in common, and that is that their x value is 2. That's right. X equals 2 is the equation of that line. There's no y equals mx plus b for vertical and horizontal lines. It's just x equals, boom, the number that x equals to describe all the points in the line. Okay, so these are vertical lines. Vertical. Now let's take a look at horizontal. So start thinking about what could be going on here with line 2 that is horizontal. So I'm making exaggerated points so we can see them. Alrighty, so here we have the point 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is negative 4, 4. which means left 4, up 4 from the origin of 0, 0. This is 4, 5, 6, 7 left. In math, we write 7 left like that. And then up 4, we write like this. So those are 2 points on that line. So let's do the equation first. We did the slope first last time. Let's do the equation first. I think probably you already know what the equation of this horizontal line is. The equation of this horizontal line is what do all of these points have in common? They have y values that are 4. So when you have x equals a number, that will be a vertical line through the x-axis at that value. And when you have a horizontal line, the equation will be y equals wherever this line is going to cut the y-axis or intercept with the y-axis, which of course is going to be 4 in this case with line 2. So we have the equation of this line. Now let's talk about the slope. Well, first of all, let's just think about this from a common sense way. How steep is this line? If it's completely horizontal, there's no steepness, right? So the slope is 0. But let's show rather algebraically how that works. So the slope is 0. Oops. So you start writing out slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, please. So we have here the slope of line 2 is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And let's plug our points in. So 4 minus 4. And then minus 4 minus minus 7. So we have 0 over 3. So 0 over anything equals 0. Test it out on your calculator if you'd like. 0. The slope is 0. We've shown mathematically with algebra that the slope is 0. And even though I'm hoping that you understand this, you are going to find that when you understand things in math, if you haven't already picked up on this, it'll be really easy to remember them. Far easier than if you're just trying to memorize things. And I find that some people try to memorize math, and if you don't understand it, honestly, you're just not going to be able to memorize it all. I don't have everything memorized, and I'm way ahead of you in the world of practicing math and doing questions and learning things and all of that, most likely, if you're watching this video. So really, 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 really buy into the idea of making sure that you understand, then practice, and then it'll become a second nature. All right, until next time.